Hi guys, happy Friday, TGIT, as I say, TGIT, thank God it's Friday. I'm going to wait for people to come in the room, and then we'll get started. Hello friends, happy Friday. It is Q&A Friday. There weren't too many questions. There was some of them that were really interesting, but keep on coming in. It's good to see you guys. I'm Maisha T. Hill, the guide here of Check Your Privilege. Thank you for being in this space. I am a black settler on Paiute land, P-A-I-U-T-E. If you've been following us, please go ahead in the comment box and post in, hey Jill, the land that you are from. What land are you settled on? Not to tokenize the practice of land reverence, but to always speak truth to power, to really reconcile the lies that have been told around the land that we are sitting on. We are all sitting on stolen land. And so please, if you can, go ahead and share the land that you're settled on. Let's get into some housekeeping on this Friday. Thank you, Isabel, always checking in. Thank you, Creek McCuggy Land. Awesome. Invite your friends. This live is more fun with friends. Treaty for Land, Canada. Awesome. This live is always more fun with friends. You live near Chumash Land. Not sure. That's okay. You can Google it and find out. It's always important not just to give land reverence, but to give reparations. There are tons of indigenous communities that have COVID-19 relief funds. Thank you for being here from Greece. Wow. What time is it in Greece? Anyway, let's keep this show on the road. We here at Check Your Privilege, we block, bless, and report. So if there's something that shows up in the comments, we don't engage. We simply just don't even give our energy away. So just report it. We block, bless, and report people because we don't really have time to put our energy into others in that way. So that's one. The second thing is that we also take space and make space. So we don't center ourselves per se, but we do give space and then we do step back, right? So some of you have heard it, step up, step back. That's what we ask you to do here in this community. We decenter whiteness, so that means that we don't talk about white anti-racism educators or their work because they are profiting. They are making money, and the experience, if it's rooted in critical race theory, it should be rooted from the experience of the black and brown educators who are actually doing this work. And then lastly, Bell Hooks, she said it best, shaming is a tool. Shaming is one of the deepest tools of imperial white supremacist capitalist patriarchy because shame produces trauma and trauma produces paralysis. That is a quote by Bell Hooks, always giving reverence to where we get our information and content from. You should do the same. I can't promise that you're not going to feel a sense of shame when I'm talking, but what I can say is that we do our best not to shame folks here in this community. So that's what we do at Check Your Privilege. So thanks for being here. It's Friday. The one thing I continue to brag about for this week is the Niche Down Your Journey Journal. This link is in bio. If you see spam comments, just report them. It is that plan that you were told in the beginning of your journey to focus for 90 days. You see mine. My instructor is Letty. My book is Hood Feminism. My nonprofit is Brown Sisters Speak. And my accountability is Louisa Duran, according to We. So this is a really good journal every day. We write in it. We focus. We do what we got to do to make sure that... Sorry. Report this comment. It's spam. All right. Sorry. We do what we do to make sure that we are, really focusing on our journey, no matter where we are in life. And it's not about really shaming. It's about accountability. Everybody needs something to keep them accountable. So this link for this is in the bio. If you're in the Co-Conspirators Lounge, for those of you who keep asking, what is the lounge? It is Patreon. It is Podia. It is a space where you come, you get your monthly masterclass, your monthly Q&A session. This month is pretty dope. We're talking about nonviolent communication and anti-racism. So not only do you get your workshop, you also get to practice nonviolent communication skills every other Tuesday, and then you get a checkout for the month. So that is a really great space to build your resiliency skills. It's a space to be in community and live more into your work of anti-racism. So it's Friday, and what we do here is that we go ahead and answer some questions. So someone says TGIF. Yes, thank God it's Friday. I said TGIT because my head thinks it's Thursday. But remember, you guys, we are living in a pandemic. And so I'm just going to say stuff wrong all the time. All right, let's get one more. Okay, here's a funny one. Hi, you have a beautiful smile. Check out my page. Maybe I can help you. That is spam. Y'all, this is hilarious. I get lots of spam comments. I just thought it'd be funny to read that out loud. I'm going to actually reach out to that person directly so she knows that her social media bot or her social media person is actually spamming accounts that actually strive to make a difference in the world. I listened to the Existential podcast. Please explain more about how to do shadow work. Well, the answer to this question is simple. I am not a licensed medical social worker. I don't specialize in shadow work. But you can Google what shadow work is and how to get to the root of your shadow. Dr. Carl Jung, who was a psychoanalyst, it's a form of psychology, Jungian psychology. Find you a Jungian psychologist and they can really help you do shadow work. I think one of the ways that we talked about shadow work in the lounge, or how to get to the unconscious, right, to the root of who you are, thank you so much, is to do some non-dominant writing. It's a practice that I have personally. It's when you just kind of ask yourself questions, you write with your non-dominant hand, and then you answer again in your non-dominant hand, and that gets you to the root of the unconscious. But when you want to talk about shadow work, one of the things that I also like to think about is that everyone that you come in contact with is a mirror, and we forget that in life often. And so knowing that everyone is a mirror, it's a reflection of your deepest, darkest self that you don't want others to see. That's a great way to think about shadow work. But yeah, find you a Jungian psychologist, a Jungian analyst, a coach, a therapist can really help you do a lot of shadow work. And Google is your best friend. What's this one? White privilege. I hate the term. Is everyone that is white have it? Where do these questions come from? I have no idea. You have more time to ask questions. White privilege. I hate the term. Is everyone that is white have it? We have had this conversation over and over and over again, friends. Yes. Yeah. Look, I don't even have to answer it. Why don't you guys answer in the comments? Is white privilege a thing? I'm not answering that today because we know the answer. That's all the questions I have today. There's nothing else here. So if you guys are watching and you have a question, I am happy to answer your questions. Alana put a book in here called The Power of Your Other Hand. It's a great book. So if you need that resource, go ahead and, talk to that. Go get it. Go Google it. See if it works for you. The other thing I want to give reminders just around on Friday is around self-care and wellness. It is Suicide Prevention Month. One of the reasons why this movement was started is because, white folks don't know the mental health implications, how privilege impacts the mental health of Black, brown, and indigenous people of color. All right, cool. Sounds good. See you soon. So, yes, not liking the term is a privilege. Absolutely. When you think about how your unconscious behaviors affect and impact others, you don't think about the ways it impacts someone's mental health. And so that's always why we are really having conversations and talking about here. Keep your eyes on your own paper. Don't respond to the trolls. Don't focus on anyone else's journey but your own, because it's already your own journey. And, it's fascinating that we don't think about that, because the way social media is set up, we just want to attack and blame and shame. We don't think about the other person on the other side of the keyboard, and they probably aren't thinking about anyone else too. But, as a parent of a child that's been bullied, we know that bullies are often just hurt people who've been hurt, and they want to hurt other people. But with it being Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, I just want to say a couple of things while you're on this anti-racism journey. Empowering you to get you a therapist, because this is some deep level soul work that you're doing. And when you are in this is not really a competition. It's not a quick fix. It's a unlearning and unpacking. So definitely get you a licensed clinical therapist to help you in your process. The second thing is that, if you have friends that struggle with depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, be there for them. Make space for what they need and give resources and tools when you can. There was another question here. I'm going to go back to it. I've been listening to Work Around Racism Recovery from the perspective of addiction. How do you feel about this approach? We actually have a monthly workshop called Breaking the Addiction of Privilege. It is our own variation of a 12-step program. And we also have a Thursday support group where we actually check in about, the steps around privilege. It's pretty powerful. I think it's the best approach because you are recovering from racism, because you're unlearning X amount, so X your age, of inherited and unconscious racism and bias. So it definitely is an addiction because your whiteness allows you to ease back into comfort. As soon as it gets uncomfortable, it's easy to ghost. And it's also easy to live into that sense of shame and not really go deep into your journey. So it's an amazing approach. Racism, you do need to recover from the addiction of privilege or racism. Let's see. Let's go. How can one focus only on their own journey when so many are struggling? So you got to look at the lives of we are a liberated people, right? So we are people who are living into our own joy. So instead of looking at Black and brown and indigenous folks as folks that are struggling, you need to reframe your language, because we're fighting for justice and we're fighting for collective liberation. It is a struggle. I can name for myself, because we're not a monolithic, to wake up and see the injustices in the world. But you focus on your own journey because you're recognizing that you are responsible for how you show up in the world. You are responsible for the space you take up in the world and the action that you take up in the world. And so on this journey of becoming and not being anti-racist, it is a lifelong journey of making sure that you are centering the community, the Black, brown, and indigenous community, around decolonization work, that you're giving your time, because time is a resource, or your money to nonprofits that support Black and brown communities. And don't focus on the struggle. Focus on the journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I think so many of us, when our brother, the great ancestor George Floyd, was murdered, so many of us wanted a quick fix. So you brought all the books, you took all the workshops, you got to it's usually between week 4 and 8. So I tell all my workshop participants, the students in Saturday school, when you get between weeks 4 and 8 is what you want when you want to just give up because it's uncomfortable. I want you guys to think about the next time you have a thought of discomfort. What is it like to wake up Black in America? What is it like when you turn on the news or you turn on your social media and you don't know if someone's been shot, murdered on Facebook? It has been a persistent thing, right? There's so much to think about. So when you want to consider the word struggle, think about and ask yourself, well, why do I think that others are struggling? What is that thought, right? You focus on your journey because your journey allows you to show up for Black lives. Solidarity statements, absolutely. How do I stop online bigotry without getting into an online world? I see so much racism on social media, but I want to be effective in reducing racism. This is we are not responsible for what we see and engage with on social media. I'm just going to be really honest with you. Social media is a tool of activism. It's a tool to educate yourself and be informed. But it's really not, there's a really quote I say every Friday: be mindful of the energy that you put into someone's space, right? And social media is a space, and there's a lot of racism on social media. There's a lot of hate on social media. You have two choices: respond or retreat. I say retreat. For what? Why engage in that? What is that giving you? Sometimes we see comments and we think we're there to kind of help guide or aid someone or shift their perspective. Yeah, but if you already see they're posting hate and bigotry and they're spreading lies and they're surrounded by people within that same energy or collective, why would you then go take yourself thinking that you can fix someone or save someone? That is not your job, right? That's not what you need to do, especially when you're on your anti-racism journey. I tell people all the time, if you're in the lounge, you've heard me say, like, y'all got to niche down. Stop spending so much time on social media, because that's where you give your power away. Every time you're on social media and you decide to engage with trolls, you are giving your power away. Thank you, Jay. Cousin says it best. Online is a supplement space. It's not the movement. It's not the center or the core of the work. So, yes, be on social media for 10 minutes. Absolutely. It distracts you from your own healing journey. Absolutely. I told them, I think I said 15 minutes on social media, 5 minutes a day throughout your day. Because there's a new film that came out. There's several films, several research studies that talk about why social media was created. And why social media is really like a tool of psychological manipulation. So you're being psychologically manipulated. I'm not going to go there too deep today. And then you're here engaging with trolls for what? It distracts you from the real purpose, because then that's centering yourself. When you get so distracted with trolls that you're trying to center yourself to be the solution for the way they show up in the world and the way that they want to be in the world, what does that do for you? Sorry guys, got a block blessing report. Give me 1 second. It does nothing. Love you too, Jay. Thank you for being here. Somebody asks, is that white saviorism? Don't know. What do you think? Do you think that's a form of white saviorism? It could be. I mean, think about it. You're waking up on the anti-racism journey. You want to help be a voice of social change, right? And instead of you just focusing on your journey, who you can learn from, what you want to do, organizations you can support, centering black voices, you're going back and forth with trolls. Because I guess you think if you go back and forth with someone with a differing opinion of you, you can have them change their mind or shape their thinking. No, not at all. My 2 cents. Yeah, we all get stuck promoting a solution, Felicia. We're not actually promoting a solution. We're promoting justice and liberation. We're like, when we start to center ourselves, we want to just say, let's do this, this, and this. No, focus on your journey. You're welcome, Annie. Forget the trolls. Absolutely. That's why we just went to Block Blessing Report, because it's just like they're going to show up. They're going to come up here with their hashtags. They're going to talk about their president. They're going to talk about, call me a racist for talking about anti-racism. I'm un-American, right? I've seen those messages. You're un-American. You're an anti-racism educator. Okay, well, hell, what is American? Oh, I'm just saying. All right, guys. Anything else? Oh, there's one more here that just popped up. What is your biggest wish at the moment? That's a good question. What is my biggest wish at the moment? My biggest wish at the moment, I'm just going to make it personal, would be to go on vacation with my family, turn my phone off, and just go out and explore. Just disconnect. That is actually my biggest wish. God, do I have any plans that I'm excited about this weekend? Well, sorry, I'm like looking like, what am I excited about this weekend? I'm excited to go out to a certain place in Nevada and just watch a couple of sports and eat a good meal and spend quality time with my partner. Date night, day 2 or 3. I'm excited to also go to the pool with my kids as well over the weekend. Yes, that would be the best vacation ever. So I got a question for you guys that are watching. Where are you on your journey? How are you? What's coming up for you? What are you working on? What are y'all come and hang out with me and ask me questions? What about you? Let me shift it a little bit. What's excitement? Like, what is the excitement of your journey right now? I don't want to talk about the daunting hard part. Where do you find excitement on your journey? What excites you? I did just say what excites you on an anti-racism journey. Think about it. If you're not having any kind of fun on this journey, is it really a journey? Hey, week 10 of Weeze's crash course. So how's that for you? Decisive confusion. Trying to find resources I want to tackle. You're learning. You're expanding your knowledge. Is anyone signed up to help with the upcoming election? Anyone doing some sort of having all the blocks? I had no idea where they're blown away. Absolutely. Love it. Deconstructing perfectionism and its roots in white supremacy. Absolutely. When we have our workshop, Forgiving Our Complicity in White Supremacy, perfectionism is the theme for all 8 weeks. Expanding my knowledge. It's amazing. School just started, so we're gearing up for difficult conversations. You're learning so much. Whew. Yes. There's a really cool resource for educators. I think it's called Courageous Conversations. Connection, a vision of a better society. Excited about learning about in nonviolent communication. Had never learned about it. Yeah, it's so much. You never know. Nonviolent communication is an amazing tool that we all need in our tool belt. As I said on Tuesday, many of us don't know, like Gandhi, it was a practice from Gandhi, rooted in his beliefs, and then Martin Luther King used it to transform, his teaching and preaching and the ways in which he stood up, the great ancestor. And then Marshall Rosenberg took it and kind of made it a communication strategy for psychotherapists to use with their clients, and it's like a global movement. So yeah. Back to school, speaking up for equity. Love it, friend. You're in a social justice and ethnic studies academy, and you've been having amazing conversations and learning so much. Good. You're working on how to be a true ally. Excited about the openness I have found that some white people do have for learning. Yeah. I'm working on a task force with teachers about changing curriculum across our district. That's awesome. Finding my niche in my community. Cool. Let's keep reading. Don't want to end it. In believing that. Oh. Where'd it go? Oh, learning about capitalism and how it's related to oppression of black communities. Dope. Courageous Conversations is awesome. Marching with Black Lives Matter through my white privileged neighborhood every night. Hey, I like that. I want to come. Reading Black Imagination by Natasha Marin. Y'all better write down these books I'm reading out loud or read through the comments. Looking at all the people coming to learn with you. That's exciting. It's pretty exciting. You found a local anti-racist community. That's dope. I have a question. Is it led by white folks or is it led by a black and brown folks? I'm always going to ask y'all that question. Dope. You discovered your new favorite author is Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison is thebomb.com. I get excited when I find you live because I learn every time. You're excited about Sidewalk Talk? Absolutely. Yep, I'll be doing something. I think I have, probably in October, November. So, come hang out on the virtual sidewalk. Excited to raise kids to know better and do better. Starting diversity D&I initiatives at work and amplifying black voices while doing so without showing tokenism. That's dope. You'd love if I join your match. Send me a message. No, you're looking for black and brown leaders. You don't have them yet. Don't be sad. I was just asking. Sliding scale in my business to interrogate privilege in my community. Tell us more about that. Someone asked me why. Are you asking why I ask folks if they are going to anti-racism trainings that are led by white folks or black and brown folks? Is that what you're asking, Felicia? March. They damn well be led by non-white peeps. Man, I'm going to quote my girl Weeze. You cannot be the poison and the antidote. White folks profiting off of the black and brown experience. Ugh. Do you believe a white woman can teach African American studies to high school students? She started a lesson saying racism is in everyone's DNA. I've said that before. Not in everyone. I've said something similar, but not in everyone's DNA. Do I believe that a white woman can teach African American studies to high school students? I mean, I would definitely ask her several questions like, what is your background in teaching this curriculum? What is your curriculum? What are your degrees in? Because if you don't have a degree in history, if you don't have a master's in African American history, what are you teaching? Like, I would want to see someone's curriculum. I'd go with lots of questions. But the education system, a majority of teachers are white, so I mean, what can we do? Ask questions and interrogate that teacher. As a teacher, you're excited to begin to change your Eurocentric high school world history course. And then, Felicia, whiteness cannot see itself. So if you get a group of white folks in a group together and they start sensationalizing and centering, they're not going to be able to call that out. And also, you can't be the poison and the antidote. So you can't position yourself as an expert or a leader in something if you then are from that same group that has caused harm. So I don't go to workshops that are taught by white folks. I don't. I'm gonna honestly also say, like, even I was telling someone the story yesterday that when I did get the book White Fragility. This is like the last time I'm going to talk about this. I read it in an hour and 15 minutes. I was not impressed, so I went to the publisher's website and I looked for other authors, and that's when I found How to Be Less Stupid About Race by Dr. Crystal Fleming, and I listened to the audio book. I bought the book, and I've unpacked in it, and the difference was the way that Dr. Fleming goes deep into critical race theory, the different fallacies that exist around the world. That's a book you should be reading. I tell folks all the time, what's the number one book you recommend? How to Be Less Stupid About Race by Dr. Crystal Fleming. And like when we first did it, we did it as a book club, and everyone's reaction was like, why are we reading this? And I'm like, because it's a book written by a black sociologist who happens to be a woman. And the content should always be centered from that experience, in my opinion. Yes, according to Weeze, said you can't be the poison and the antidote. The book is called How to Be Less Stupid About Race. And we can talk about the publishing industry. We can talk about how this publishing thank you, Izzy. We can talk about how this publishing company has two sociologists with two books and have spent more money marketing and promoting Robin DiAngelo's book than Crystal Fleming's book. We could talk about that. We can, because even when I found that out, I'm going to go find the tweet. It's in my account. I sent them a Twitter and I asked them, do you not think it's a problem that you're not marketing and promoting Dr. Fleming's book the ways in which you're marketing Robin DiAngelo's book? I did do that because it's true. That's how the industry works. That's how it works in marketing. Whiteness will always be front and center. And so, what are we going to do? What can we do? Advocate for social change. Making sure the marketing in our own businesses is anti-racist and it's not upholding white supremacy. That publishing company is upholding white supremacy by putting more money into a book that is written by a white woman versus a black woman. All right, anything else before I go? No? All right, well, what's coming up? Tomorrow, we are going ahead and getting into our 12 weeks of Saturday school. We're going to be talking about deconstructing ourselves as a system of domination. What does it mean? How do we look at ourselves as a system and deconstruct and decolonize ourselves as a system of domination? That goes for about 12 weeks. Starts tomorrow. Last day to sign up is Monday. I'll be back Monday to check in to get us started off in the week. There is a new podcast episode dropping with Constanza Eliana, and there'll be more juicy goodness that y'all will see here at Check Your Privilege over next week or so. But I do want to say, y'all, that we are tired. I'm not sure if a lot of us haven't been posting as much. We put in a lot of work So I'm going to ask you the same thing that Weeze asked you yesterday. Please give us the same grace that you ask us to give you when you're beginning on your anti-racism journey, right? Because that's the first thing you want, is you want your humanity to be honored and witnessed. And so when we say we're tired, when we ask for more time to send you a document, when we say, hey, we're taking a break, y'all have to say, okay, respect that. Respect that your anti-racism educators and guides are exhausted. That because we know how whiteness works and we're trying to make sure that black and brown educators are centered in the work, some of us haven't taken a break. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of, the ways in which we have to put up our boundaries and have our self-care. And same for your journey. You also need to make sure that you're having self-care on your journey so you don't burn out. Listen, Sonny, white urgency. I love that. I might have to borrow that for next week for a topic, but absolutely, just let us rest. I'll be offline this weekend. I hope you get offline and get out. Well, if you're in the Bay Area, read a good book. But yes, self-care and resistance. You guys take good care, and I will see y'all on Monday. Bye, friends.